double-decker sub while I was soaking in the tub. I dropped some pastrami, I still ate it even though it was soapy.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, December 9th, 2024. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby. Hey yo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Hello to everybody joining us live on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. We will be doing our NBA weekend winners and losers here on a Monday. Lots to talk about, some monster performances, but we also had another wedgie. That's right. Shout out to everybody letting us know late last night that we had wedgie number 12. I swear it happened there. Because there it is wedged, and there's LeBron looking at it. And Max Christie is going to get credit for this one on the three-point attempt. Wow, nice just pull focus on that shot there.
Gorgeous.
God, that was good. So that's our 12th wedgie of the season because, yeah, we did have one that we sort of had missed late last week, but we've included it, and WedgieTracker.com has it. And, man, the Blazers broadcast task, they went off about wedgies. Lamar Hurd wasn't there, but then Tom Haberstroh came in. He had fired up WedgieTracker.com, gave it a shout out. They talked about wedgies for like a minute and a half. It was great.
No broadcast team likes wedgies more than they do. They love it so much.
I agree with that.
Yeah, we've had 12 wedgies. I wonder if Tom Haberstroh told everyone that half the wedgies are three-point shots this season.
No.
Oh, he should.
He should have.
Big number.
Yeah, it's a big 6.
He'll be talking to Dan Devine about that big number later this week.
The big number.
For sure. All right, so 12 wedgies. Love to see it. Okay, let's get into NBA weekend winners. We'll do a couple rounds of this. Trey, get us started. Who's the big winner?
Big winner of the weekend, Nikola Jokic. Kinda.
Yep.
Career high 56 points Saturday against the Wizards, 16 rebounds and 8 assists, no big deal. He followed that up with a minor 48-point, 14 rebound, 8 assist game in a blowout Sunday against the Hawks. You score 104 points in a weekend. You get a winner.
Yeah.
He did it with style. He did it with panache. He swished a half-court shot against the Hawks. It was cool to watch him playing against Jonas Valanciunas in the Wizards game. Two big old boys just slapping meat against each other. That was a throwback game. And then against the Hawks, it was like post-ups and jumpers in the first half and then floater fest in the second half.
Yeah.
Pick and roll. Felt like every time with Westbrook, found him in the short roll, and Jokic has the best touch that we've ever seen, basically, from that spot. Just kept knocking him down, but it's only a kind of winner for 3 reasons. A, the Nuggets lost to the Wizards on Saturday. I saw Denver, DNVR, called it rock bottom for the Nuggets. You can't disagree. The math problem was in full force here. Denver shot a better field goal percentage in this game. They won the turnover battle. They won the rebound battle. They made the same amount of free throws, but Jordan Poole went 9 for 20 from 3, and the Nuggets went 5 for 24 from 3. 16 total for the Wizards. Poole got really hot in the third quarter, was just hitting crazy shots. I think he hit a step back on Christian Brown, and they gave him a stinky. He was like running down the court going, ew.
Okay, hold on. Was the celebration it's stinky, or was it I'm drowning or you're drowning?
In the pool party?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know what's the right answer here. It's a horrible celebration, though.
Right. I don't know the answer. I thought it was a stinky, but you're right. Maybe he was saying, uh-oh, you're drowning in the pool party.
Yeah, that's what I sort of thought. Yeah.
I think that's better
because
than
this
stinky.
is more stinky, and he was, I thought, doing more like this.
You're
almost.
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Tough to say. Let us know what you got.
Yeah.
Stinky or swimming?
People are trying some puzzling celebrations right now.
We're stepping the game up
I like
for
it.
2025.
Look, there's going to be misses, but I like the creativity at least.
Yeah, that's funny. Number 2, taxing workload for Nikola Jokic. No Jamal Murray over the weekend. He's got a hamstring problem. I don't think Aaron Gordon played on Saturday. He did play against the Hawks. They played really well against Atlanta. Definitely a bounce-back effort, but a career high in minutes for Jokic, career high in usage as well. So he's playing more and having to do more right now. You see it in both of these games. Basically, everybody's just staying home on everybody else that's not Jokic and saying, all right, go score. Shoot the most times you ever have in a game. That's not the way he wants to play, but that's the way they have to play right now. And, of course, final reason, D, they're still a play-in team. They're a half a game out of the 6th seed. So it's not that big of a deal, but you're not the MVP if you're in the play-in tournament. Sorry.
No, they got to get up to 6.
That's right.
That's the baseline.
Specifically 6th, and then it's all good.
Yeah, Jokic won an MVP as the 6th seed. Westbrook did it too. You got to get up there. It is so weird seeing Jokic having to shoot 11 seconds into the Hawks game. First possession, he shoots from the 3-point line. He doesn't want to do that. But
well, he was wide open.
He was wide open. Yeah,
like,
Hawks
take it,
saying,
please.
Go ahead. Yeah, they're covering other guys, as you said. It's just such a weird team right now. The whole Jamal Murray thing, it brings up another huge question. If he's going to be hurt long term, I mean, they desperately need him to be something. I know he hasn't been himself, but playing out there, the moves by Calvin Booth are the puzzling part. We've all said Kentavious Caldwell-Pope leaves. I thought Christian Brown would be able to replace him. He has, but it's the guy who replaces the guy who replaces the guy. Stan Van Gundy said a lot more eloquently than I just said. But the bench has not been able to do anything, whether it's Julian Strother out there and Peyton Watson as the wings, Sarge as the big, and Westbrook. It just hasn't worked out. So the question to me, signing Jamal to a huge max contract, is he going to be able to play now with this hamstring injury? Is he going to be able to keep up? Because we have watched him here through 6 first weeks. The numbers are not good at all for Jamal Murray.
There were rumors over the weekend, though, that Zeke Naji is available if anybody wants to make a trade for him. So maybe that can bolster the roster a little bit. But yeah, at least Aaron Gordon is back. You're right. He did miss that Wizards game. Was back a couple before that. Looked pretty good, I thought, in those contests. He struggled there against the Hawks. But man, it's just like, it's the Jokic show. It's sort of wild right now. He's doing things that over the back-to-back situation when you're talking the points, the rebounds and assists, I think it's like Wilt Chamberlain, it's Elgin Baylor, and now it's Jokic. I just wish we had a camera on Jokic after these type of performances just to see how angry he is. Despite having to score, or despite scoring over 100 points, where most guys I'm sure would be holding up the piece of paper, dapping up everybody, loving every minute of it. Hey, I got buckets, I'm the man. But it really feels like he hates this.
Yeah,
this is not how I want to play basketball, nor how we should, but I sort of have to right now to at least get us to split over the weekend, go 1-1.
He didn't have a 56 on the paper, probably because it's too low of a number. You got to be at least 60 plus, 70 if we're being honest in today's day and age. But the thing he did say was that if we were playing in Europe, these guys would be fined and their paychecks would be smaller. That's what he said about his team after the game on Saturday, because there was no defensive effort.
Yes.
They obviously played a lot harder against the Hawks to get the split over the weekend, but you can tell that Jokic is a little bit frustrated when you hear comments like that. Usually he's not saying anything interesting in postgame, and I thought that was at least a little bit interesting. The bench hasn't been good, but the biggest problem for the Nuggets is that they got 3 guys on huge contracts who aren't all-stars. Jamal Murray, not even close. Michael Porter Jr., maybe he's getting worse. The book is out on him. They just run him off the 3-point line every time. 3-point attempt rate, down. Per game, down. They know you just want to take a 3 and we'll live with whatever else happens. And then Aaron Gordon, he's never going to be an all-star, but a good two-way player, nonetheless. Those 3 guys are on humongous contracts, and they're getting 30th best player return on it. Right. Not even close, I would say. So the best players actually have to be good for this team, and then maybe the bench could figure it out.
Yeah. I wonder, too, with the weekend that Jokic just had, he was doing a little bit of looking at the schedule here for the Nuggets, because it's a weird week with the NBA Cup, and obviously the Nuggets are not in the quarterfinals. So those 2 games, those back-to-back games, the Denver Nuggets don't play now until Friday. So maybe he's like, well, this is the weekend to sort of go balls to the wall, try and get us some victories here. I'll shoot a million times. I'll do everything. I'll gas myself a little bit maybe because, hey, at least I have a few nights off now because they don't play again until Friday. It's a strange schedule. We'll get into that later, but maybe that was a part of the equation here. I wouldn't put it past the guy. He's sort of like 10 steps ahead of everybody on the court. Probably is off the floor as well. But what a weekend. I'm glad you gave him a winner of the week. I'm glad we started with that, even if it gets the kinda. Because they lost to the Wizards.
They lost to the Wizards.
Who did snap their losing streak.
Winners of the weekend, the Washington Wizards.
A minor winner of the weekend as well. All right, let's keep going here, Tats. Who do you have?
I'm going with the Golden State Warriors. This could be another controversial pick because they were 1-1 over the weekend. Nothing spectacular, but I could not resist what I thought was the best 2-game set, 2 teams playing in the same building that I remember since they started doing this baseball set type of thing, because it started on Friday, Golden State hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it started with Draymond Green going to the bench. They've decided that Jonathan Kuminga, the next era is here, and he had to start for Draymond Green, and Draymond with good comments about it, basically saying, I'm a product of my vet being willing to take a backseat for me when David Lee took the backseat for him. So you got to give back what came to you, as he said. And they looked at their team, and they're playing great defense, but they need offense, obviously. And as Jagged Edge said, we ain't getting no younger. We might as well do it. That was I know it's not a line.
Jagged Edge reference.
Yeah.
In 2024, I was not ready for it.
Yeah,
but what are you going to do, I guess is the question.
Yeah.
We're not getting older. Let's just do it. What are you referring to?
Well, we got to do it. I'm referring to Marcus Thompson, who actually wrote this. He actually wrote it. Yeah, I was going to get to. He transformed that Jagged Edge line to Steph ain't getting no younger. We might as well do it. Because they're looking at each other like, we won this thing 2 years ago. We still got Steph and Dre. We got to put every guy in that we got. And maybe this is for the trade value of Jonathan Kuminga to up it a little bit in the next 2 months to maybe try and get somebody else again, because they tried to trade for Markkanen, tried to trade for Paul George. But this was just awesome. As they said, it ain't going to be perfect with Jonathan Kuminga in the starting lineup. And as he went to the starting lineup and Dre went to the bench, well, the Wolves' defense on Friday was awesome. It was so good, holding the Warriors to 2 20-point quarters. And the Warriors could not score in close. They had bad shooting percentages from the paint. Gobert was doing a great job. And if Jaden McDaniels was alive, he had 10 first-half points in the first half on Friday. That's his average of the entire season. So that was nice to see him. And you saw Naz Reid closing the game for the Minnesota Timberwolves over Julius Randle. And he didn't have a great line. He had a key block on Draymond Green in the fourth quarter. And that's the same sort of thing that happened with Ket. He's our starter, and Julius Randle is our starter, but Naz Reid could finish off for him when it comes down to it. And so Naz Reid was expected to play a lot more minutes this year when they made the Cat trade. So Jaden McDaniels, there was a lot of hope for them, but that hasn't happened. Anyways, they go on and they've won this streak, and Anthony Edwards finished it off in this game, screaming for like 30 seconds straight. He was yelling at Steph, who he played in the Olympics with, who he loves, like directly in his face almost, everywhere. And everybody was laughing. It just feels like since Anthony Edwards called out this team, they got a lot better. They started streaking, and the Warriors obviously were much better when Dre was on the floor, but they scored just 90 points. And I thought, this is going to be bad for a while. But then game 2, no Wiggins in that one, so they put Draymond Green back into the starting lineup. So it was Green, Curry, Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and Gary Payton II. An odd starting lineup, and it looked like the Timberwolves had this thing. They just kept turning the Warriors over and over and over again. A bunch of points. 12 points of their first 39 points were off turnovers. The Warriors were down 12 early in the second half. Draymond Green starting that second half. First possession, he pokes Rudy Gobert in the eyeball. So we wonder, is this could this be a controversial moment? There was a challenge. The Warriors challenged the foul, saying he didn't poke him in the eye. Anyways, he did. And the Warriors wouldn't go away. They just kept hitting threes. This team does have that sort of resilience. And that's why this 2-game series was awesome. They kept shooting threes. Buddy Hield, 3 threes in the third quarter. Went down to late in the fourth quarter. 3 minutes left. The Curry and Kuminga pick and roll worked beautifully. Kuminga a smash dunk. But then Kuminga had a travel turnover that was pretty funny.
Slidey foot.
Yeah.
Just
wiped out.
Slippery.
Wiggins did the same thing last week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good,
What's
good.
up with that floor there?
Get your grips up.
Good call. And then Hield hit another 3 late in the game. He had 7 on the night. And then Draymond Green sealed it with a dunk, running back with the Steph Curry sleeping at the same time.
Night.
Yeah, sleep running. I've never seen that before. It wasn't
Seen sleepwalking. But
exactly.
Running,
it wasn't a stop and play. He did that. So I thought this series was just great.
Yeah.
That's why both these teams, and in the Western Conference, the playoffs are just going to be ridiculously good. But fun to see both teams. I think the Timberwolves are now top 5 defense again. It's actually, after being first last year, they actually give up more points this. Hold on. No. Their numbers are better this year. They give up less points this year per 100 possessions because all 5 teams that are top 5 now give up less points than the Timberwolves did last year.
Yeah.
Defenses are getting better.
Defenses are better right
Yeah,
now.
it's not offense. Offenses aren't getting better. Defenses are getting better. But fun. Just a really fun thing as the Warriors try and figure themselves out. And again, their defense is awesome. So it's the offense that they're really worried about.
Yeah, the Sunday game was amazing because the Warriors ended on a 9-0 run.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Kuminga was huge. The place was rocking. That was the loudest I can remember Chase Center being. And Gary Payton II, man, he was a menace. He was everywhere down the stretch. Deflections, blocks, or at least contesting shots and steals. And I thought he was really great and a big part of the win. But yeah, that's a fun series. Like if we get that matchup in the playoffs or wherever, play-in game even, yeah, they're fun, those two teams, the Wolves and Warriors. Any thoughts on that?
It was definitely fun to watch. I thought the Wolves kind of went nuts in the fourth quarter, just couldn't get any good shots, and part of that was the defense. Perfect Draymond Green game. You get to poke Rudy Gobert in the eye and then dunk on him at the end. What else could you ask for?
Yeah.
The guy probably slept well last night. I don't know if I believe them about Kuminga, though. Feels like a pump and dump.
You think so?
Yep. Guy didn't start until we were getting close to when players can actually be traded again. They obviously didn't sign him to the extension. They're just trying to make him look good, it feels like right now. But it works out good for the Warriors because if Kuminga plays well, guess what? That helps our team and it helps his trade value. But I do think that they would like to move him for somebody more reliable because to me, the best Kuminga lineups are going to be these small lineups. Like when he plays, you almost have to have Buddy Hield on the court to give the shooting there alongside Steph Curry. Buddy hit a couple of big ones there, but then if you're starting Kuminga at the 4, Buddy Hield at the 2, good luck keeping your defense as strong as it is. I just don't necessarily know that I think Kuminga is a long-term piece there, the start of the next era. If that was true, they would have signed him 2 months ago when they had a chance.
Probably, yeah.
Let's keep it going here. NBA weekend winner to Chris Paul. I thought this was a good note from Zach Harper in the bounce today. While most of us are still marveling at LeBron James in his 22nd NBA season, there is another all-time great playing pretty damn well in his grandpa years here, and that's Chris Paul. CP3 notched assist number 12,092 on Sunday as the Spurs faced the Pelicans, and that assist moved him one dime ahead of Jason Kidd on the all-time list. So Chris Paul into second spot. John Stockton remains number 1 with over 15,000 assists, closer to actually 16,000 assists, which he accumulated over 19 seasons. But I thought it was well done by the Spurs here in San Antonio. You know, they called the timeout soon after the very simple Chris Paul assist, I should say. The one where he just inbounded it to Wembanyama, who hit a 3. That was it. Didn't have to get all creative with this one.
Inbound assist.
Yeah.
You don't see that too often.
So the game was, though, stopped briefly to commemorate this milestone. They had a little short video tribute. And then after the game, they gave him a framed sort of keepsake and a basketball. And I think on both of them, it has the names of all the teammates he's assisted over his storied career, which is, I think, at 173 and counting. Hence the small font here on the basketball. Like
Frank Kaminsky.
Not the easiest to read here, but yeah, it is wild. And look, Wembanyama came back from I guess back soreness that kept him out the last couple of games. He had a good game. The biggest assist from Chris Paul was the one with like 40 seconds to go, where he did find Wembanyama again, who splashed a 3, who put them up. That was huge. But yeah, he's in the second spot here, second place on the all-time assist list. I do not think he'll be catching John Stockton.
Probably not.
Crazy stat from Harper again in the bounce. If Chris Paul averaged 15 assists over his next 246 games, that's 3 seasons, the 39-year-old point guard would finally pass John Stockton for the most assists ever. So he needs a whole lot of assists still to get into number 1 spot. So he won't do that, but he's going to finish here probably second. And guys, freaking damn good. Like I think there's like a lot of truth to the maybe LeBron still playing and guys obviously playing longer in their careers. Like Chris Paul's forgotten now. Part of it is he never won a championship. I get that. You do wonder, maybe it's just because we had David Aldridge on to talk about the Basketball 100 book. I was thinking, man, imagine the Suns win that title and they beat the Bucks, and CP3 gets his title. How many spots does he jump in the all-time rankings list? Right now he's 31st in that book, so he's very high. But does he go up another 5? Does he go another 10? Like Giannis is basically 10 ahead of him, right? And got that title. Now I know Giannis has 2 MVPs and whatever, they're different players, but I don't know, it's a fun thought experiment. If he had one more championship, how much higher it puts him when it's all said and done.
Is he behind John Stockton?
He is, no, I don't believe so.
That makes sense.
I don't believe
John
so.
Stockton also never won a ring.
Yeah.
First in steals as well as first in assists. And Chris Paul should probably move into second in steals by the end of the season. He's like, 36, I think, behind Jason Kidd right now. So he will get there as well, and he will go down in history as John Stockton 2.0. They are identical players, fundamental, good shooters, not looking to score out there, playing on both ends, long careers, doing it the exact same as when they started, as when they ended. The reason people don't care as much is that the Spurs are fighting for a play-in game, and the Lakers are theoretically trying to win a championship. But yeah, Chris Paul, great stuff. There's still a handful of teams he hasn't played for, so maybe he does stick around another 3 seasons.
That's right. I know. Even that framed keepsake, like I said, caught me by surprise when you're like, oh, yeah, he has played for a lot of teams because I had a photo of him on each team here. But every spot he's played, he's like has like a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio and has been good. I mean, he generally plays for winners, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's still playing good. There's a lot of names on that ball that he's assisted. Does John Stockton's ball just say Carl? I mean, it literally just Carl.
It just says Carl.
That's it. That's all it should say. But yeah, it was a weird game because Wemby left the game after getting hit in the testicles twice in the first 3 minutes, and because he had missed the previous 2 games, and he kind of grabbed his back, which held him out those 2 games, there was some worry. He left the game. Then he came back and received the ball from Chris Paul and hit that shot. Yep. And yeah, San Antonio celebrated, and everybody shook his hand. Wemby was on the bench beside Chris Paul and gave him a good handshake.
Did you see the locker room video from Chris Paul?
I have not.
Very emotional. He was choked up. Yeah, again, after they gave him all this stuff, he was like, he did a little speech. The whole speech was like, I hope you guys get to play 19 years or 20 years, something like that. And then they like doused him in water. They did the water bottles. I was like, okay, that's good. That's fun. Everybody's around doing the water, going everywhere. But then they came in with like the bucket of water.
We're getting you soaked, buddy.
And my first thought immediately goes to like the poor suckers that got to clean all this up. It's like in their own locker room, you know? Some guys just
water,
standing in the corner. Yeah, but somebody's got to vacuum it.
Vacuum the
water? Gotta get the wet vac up.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's carpeted. Not plush by any means, but somebody's got to clean that up.
I don't know.
Clean that up.
That's where my thought immediately went to.
Did they say who his most assisted guy was? I mean, to me, it's got to be between Blake and David West. Probably is in the mix.
Yeah. Right.
Different assists.
Yeah, I would assume Blake. How many years did he play for the Clips? It was a while, 6 or 7.
A long time.
Yeah.
They showed a little montage of the assist, the first assist. It was to David West.
Right.
Was it warranted? I don't know. It was passing to the post.
Right.
That's an assist these days. We'll get to Tyrese Maxey assist. Just a pass into the post. I don't know. Yeah, I wonder who it could be. DeAndre Jordan doesn't make it? Nah, probably not.
That's probably a lot, but
damn right.
Top 5, yeah.
All right, let's keep it going. Another round of winners from the weekend. Who you got, TK?
Couple of nice wins for the Miami Heat over the weekend. They beat the Suns on Saturday and gave the Cleveland Cavaliers their 4th loss of the season on Sunday. They also beat the Lakers last week. We talked about it. They completely smacked them. First 3-game win streak of the season for the Miami Heat, and to me, the best two-way play that we've seen all season from the Heat. All 3 of these opponents, the Lakers, Suns, and Cavs, scored under 115 points. The Heat are 12-3 when that happens. Also, Miami scored 120 or more in all of these games. They're 6-2 when that happens. You put them together, that's a 3-game win streak, baby. On Saturday against the Suns, it was Bam had 25, 12, and 8 assists. Jimmy Butler had 24, 7, and 4 assists. All 5 of their starters were in double digits, plus Kevin Love. Sunday, much the same, 34 for Tyler Hero, added 6 rebounds, 7 assists, had a 19-point third quarter. Duncan Robinson, 23 points, 4 threes, and a dunk in this one.
Yeah.
2nd of the season. I was shocked to see that. How many do you think he had last year?
0.
I mean, 3.
3.
Oh.
He dunks more than I thought. I thought it was gonna be goose eggs all around.
I mean, how tall is he?
He is like 6'8".
Yeah, like if he's alone
he's not a small guy.
Yeah.
But he ain't dunking all that.
No.
All that much. I thought Jimmy Butler was also pretty sweet in this one, despite not huge numbers. He was getting into the lane nonstop in the 4th quarter. 6 in double digits for the Heat in this one as well. 30 assists against the Suns, 27 against Cleveland, and I think it's a hilarious 42 in that Lakers game where they scored all those points, hit all those threes. That is Miami at its best. The ball is moving. 6 or 7 guys are able to get into double digits. I forget which Champagny is the one that's in Miami right now. I think it's Justin, right?
Yes.
Julian is the Spurs, Champagny.
Yes.
And it was like backdoor cut after backdoor cut after backdoor cut. The system was working. Miami as an up and down team. We've talked about Bam's underwhelming start to the season. He was pretty solid this weekend. Same with Jimmy Butler. Like, they play good enough defense that if they have hot shooting nights, they're going to be able to win some of these games. I think they were over 40% from 3 in both of their wins over the weekend. they're still a playoff team. I don't have a lot of hope for the Heat, and I think they probably still need to add to the team if they want to make any noise in the playoffs. But this was a good weekend to kind of get back on track, I thought.
Yeah, I think they have a really solid record with those particular starting five, right? You're talking Bam, you're talking Duncan Robinson, Highsmith, Hero, and Butler. As that five, I want to say that lineup is has a 7-2 record or something like that overall. So that's good, and those are quality wins. Now, we should point out the Cavs game, Mobley goes down, 10 minutes into the game? Is that what the game he had to tweak his ankle? That's a tough loss for them, and hopefully it's nothing too serious, but that helped out the Heat. But great weekend from them.
They did a great job on Donovan Mitchell to slow him down. He had a bad game in that game to slow them down. And you mentioned Champagny. There's guys on the Heat that I don't recognize at first. Drew Smith banging home triples in that game, 3 triples, and he helps out that bench. It's a very interesting rotation that Eric Spoelstra seems to be flowing on a little bit more as Rozier comes off the bench now and is decent. But yeah,
he had a better game. I lied about Champagny, though. He's a wizard. I was getting him mixed up. The Heat were wearing red jerseys last night. Champagny was back cutting the Nuggets the entire time. But it was Drew Smith who was hooping.
Drew
Smith was hooping. He also drove baseline, jumped, and threw a pass over the rim into the corner. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh.
Like the skip pass to the corner, usually, if anything, it's going to hit the bottom of the net.
Yeah.
Whoop. And he jumped, threw it over the top, a lob to Duncan Robinson, caught it and knocked it down. That's cool. Sorry to the Champagny family.
Yeah, absolutely. But as weird as this season's been for Miami and how they struggled out of the gate, even though Hero's been phenomenal and probably will be an all-star, it's they're flirting with top 10 offensive. I think they're into the top 10 offensively, and then they're right there defensively, and obviously that's a good sign of a solid team. So yeah, maybe they've unlocked something here, and the zombie Heat are back in our lives once again. It's very possible, but I do sort of agree with you. It's they have another miraculous run in them from way down in the standings. I don't think so. Not with that elite talent at the top of the Eastern Conference, but maybe they're not one of these teams that's afraid of the Celtics before. I guess maybe afraid of the Cavs. But it feels like there's a piece to be acquired here to maybe take them to the next level. But good weekend from the Miami Heat. Tass, you teased it a little bit. I guess Tyrese Maxey's involved in your winner of the weekend here.
You are right. The Philadelphia 76ers, sort of like the Miami Heat, have been disappointing. They've just been disappointing. I'm trying to make a segue here. They're different in terms of how disappointing they are. But going into Friday, they had a 2-game doubleheader. The second game there with Orlando. Things were still a bummer for the 76ers. Embiid was going to be out again. Injury management. I mean, what does that even mean? When will he be back? And the last game was such a disappointing game. We talked about it last week, how the free throws were happening, should have been more of them, and they lost to Orlando in the end. They didn't have Paul George in that one, but Friday, Paul George came back, and he was decent against the Magic. 9 big assists, and when you squint and you see, if you think of Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and him on the floor together, and Paul George doesn't have all the eyes on him, he can be passing. That could be what those 3 you guys do together. You had 21, leading scorer. But it's a weird one because 76ers couldn't even shoot in this game. 65% from the free throw line. They made 6 fewer threes than Orlando. I mean, I know they're both bad three-pointing shooting teams, but some way, somehow, even though Maxey was 1 of 7 from 3, 2 of 21 in his last 3 games to that point, they still win. They still beat Orlando on Friday because of KJ Martin, I thought was huge. The Johnny on the spot type of guy, the dunker spot. He's all over the place. He's just a helpful guy, glue guy. I mean, he made 8 shots in the paint by the hoop, second leading scorer with 20 points. And I wonder if when Embiid comes back, if he can be that guy in the dunking spot, because there's going to be some opening there. Anyway, they had 56 points in the paint in that Friday game against the Orlando Magic. Andre Drummond, offensive boards all over the place. They played a good defensive game against Orlando. Then Sunday against the Bulls, Joel Embiid's back, baby. All of a sudden he plays. He looked like he hadn't played much at first. I mean, he missed his first 7 shots, but he played a lot for Joel Embiid. He missed his first 7, then he hit 13 of his next 21 buckets and 31 points on 28 shots. That's a good sign for the Sixers in that, no, it's not efficient, but it's Joel Embiid shooting a lot. That guy that we signed to be a max player. That was a former MVP, and he had a huge block on Kobe White, I thought, in the fourth quarter. Kobe White had him at the perimeter, went by him, but Embiid recovered to smack it off the backboard. So 31 and 12, 2 blocks, 6 turnovers. Yeah, not a great game in that department. But Tyrese Maxey had 14 assists in this game, and 10 of them were to Joel Embiid. That's a good number because they played that pick and roll that we saw last year, pick and pop, where Embiid would hang out in mid-range, hit shots, mistakenly bank one in from mid-range. He pointed at it like he kind of called it, but there's no way he meant that. He did that on purpose. But he had a great game. He finally hit 3 threes. As I said, he was bad the 3 previous game, and he's only 3 of 12 in this one. But that's an improvement. 25 points, 14 assists, 11 boards. Paul George had a quiet game. That's perfect. That's fine. It's a weird one because the 76ers hit 10 fewer threes than the Bulls. Philadelphia only hit 9. They had 10 offensive boards, but they only allowed 2 on the other end. They're boarding really hard, and their rotation starting to look right. Gershon, Yabusele, and Kelly Oubre starting with the big 3. Then Jared McCain, KJ Martin, Andre Drummond, Caleb Martin, and Lowry got minutes off the bench. Eric Gordon, Reggie Jackson, you don't have to play. So that's 10 guys. It's the best part of the 76ers season right now. They've won 4 or 5.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
10-9-8 76ers.
There you go.
I mean, it's something. It feels weird saying this is a winner of the weekend because where are they in the standings? Well, not all that good. But they're moving up.
They are moving up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great timing. Definitely late last week, I said the Sixers season's already over, and it's a wrap, so shut me up a little bit. They have to win these games, though. They got a game against the Pacers on Friday. Again, weird week. They don't play all week, basically. And then they have a home and away against the Hornets. Those should be winnable games. So, you in theory could get up to 10 wins there. Who knows if Embiid's playing? You would hope Embiid plays after a week off here, after playing good minutes in this game, but you never know with that guy. Quality, solid wins. Maxey with the triple-double, right? First ever?
Yes.
In his career? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
sort of
that.
shocking.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Probably not a big rebounder.
No, I guess not.
Yeah.
But, enough. There's enough 3-pointers going up nowadays that 4 of those are going to fall to you around the free throw line as a guard. But yeah, congrats to Maxey on his first trip dub. Sixers, any thoughts on them?
Well, they shot 27% from 3, only made 7 threes in the win against Orlando, only made 9 threes, 25% against the Bulls. If that game was another 5 minutes, the Bulls were going to win. The Sixers were trying to throw it away, but I think Chicago went 1 for 6 from 3 in the last 3.5 minutes of this game. They were getting good looks, and they just could not knock them down. That's the only reason they came back in the third quarter. Got super hot, but I'm with you. This was the best Embiid game so far this season, and it was kind of one hot quarter where he had 19, but he was lighting up the Bulls. He looked awesome. He's got back-to-back 30-point games. They're like 3.5 weeks apart, but still, yeah. When he plays, he's good.
That's true.
So now's the time to get in, play against an easy team like the Bulls, then take an entire week off. That's honestly smart basketball.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Vooch stealing the ball from him a couple times. That was pretty fun, that little rivalry between the two of them.
Sixers legend, Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. A few other NBA weekend winners. Luka Doncic, 30 points, 13 boards, 11 assists for his second straight triple-double as the Mavs extended their win streak to 7 games. This happened on Saturday against the Raptors. Toronto made it close. Excuse me. 125-118, though Dallas got the win. But I think Luka, guys, has officially pulled up a seat to the MVP table. I think he's doing it cool, like he's AC Slater at Bayside. He's turned the chair around and pulled up to see Jokic, to see Giannis and SGA and Tatum. If those are the 4 guys in the booth, like I said, Luka's pulled up the chair. What's up, guys? What are we eating here? Who's ordering? It was Luka's 79th career triple-double. That moved him past Wilt Chamberlain and James Harden on the NBA's all-time list. So he's in sole possession of 7th place. I do love this. Next on the list, career triple-doubles, his coach, Jason Kidd. And Jason Kidd said, I guess I've got to sit him now. He jokingly said that after the game. So he can stay in 6th spot, I guess. But Luka, man, he was putting on a show for that Toronto crowd. That's his only visit there, north of the border. He was banking home a 35-foot 3 to end the second quarter, head into the half. He threw a no-look, over-the-head assist to Kyrie, getting the oohs and ahs from the crowd. I mean, he's just sort of toying with them. Monster game. Yeah,
I was showing that to my kids because we try our no looks during games we play, little board games we play, and I say that's the thing you do. That's a no looker. Although he looks at the 3-point line, then he turns around and says, "I'm gonna do that." Yeah. But whatever.
He notices the guys there, and then he's like, "Watch how cool this is gonna look."
It looks cool. Smart.
Look away. Amen Thompson, little winner of the weekend. Love. He looked awesome in his second start of the season. No Fred VanVleet for the Rockets, and they were on a bit of a skid here, but they took care of business on Sunday. Amen Thompson, again, got the start, and I thought, gee, I love watching this guy. 22 points, 9 of 14 shooting. He hit a 3 again. I think that's back-to-back games now where he knocked down a 3. Grabbed 8 boards, 4 assists. He had a steal, he had a block. A lot of energy, and they got the victory. But they just have... we've talked about them all season long. They just have so many guys that even if they're missing someone like Fred VanVleet, I don't think Tari Eason played in that game as well. Jalen Green had a good game, and you can slot in Amen Thompson, no problem.
Yep, pretty much the opposite for the Clippers.
Yeah, right.
Jordan Miller and Bones Highland were cooking.
Great
these
point.
guys, I was like, wow, this is a banged up team.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, no Harden, of course, for the Clips in that one. And then Khris Middleton. He's back.
He's back, baby.
He made his return over the weekend. He played in 2 games, actually, on Friday and Sunday. This is a guy coming back from rehabbing surgeries on both ankles in the offseason, which is pretty wild to think about. Friday night, he played 23 minutes. He was on the court in a close game against the Celtics, so one of the best teams in the league. He finished 2 for 11 from the field. Looked rusty. Got his 11 points. Had some assists, though. And then on Sunday, he played 20 minutes, almost exactly, because even Doc Rivers said after that Friday night game, he was like, I think we were supposed to stick to the 20-minute mark, but we got him up to 23. But Middleton scored 11 again, shot a little bit better, 3 of 8. So some small improvements there. But again, he had 11 assists in about 40 minutes over the weekend. Now, some of these, you want to talk about assists that are nothing. They were of the nothing burger variety, no doubt. Just swing it to Giannis, who would then, take a dribble and score. But he did have a gorgeous transition basket to Giannis, screaming down the middle, threw it over the defense. That was nice. And he had another one where he and this is what I love. He's still Khris Middleton. He's rounding into form, but he draws attention. The guy's a bucket. So I sort of get locked in on him. You maybe forget about your guy. There was just too much attention. He kicked it to Gary Trent Jr. up top. No one was by him. Hit the 3. So I thought that was at least a good sign from Khris Middleton. Some playmaking here. And again, just another guy you have to worry about on Milwaukee.
Another guy you need to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming off the bench both those games, he's still getting into it.
Oh, yeah.
But it was fun to watch them against the Boston Celtics. And they played them
well.
It's a good game.
Yep.
That's what they do. They've already played all 3 games against the Boston Celtics this season. It's done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
They're not playing a 4th. Yeah.
No. Are you going to give any... you mentioned Evan Mobley. That was awesome. His 41 points.
41 points, yeah.
6 threes. Both career
The
highs.
bummer was the ankle injury, the following game. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch it up. Let's go to losers of the weekend. Trey, get us started.
Easy loser, the Orlando Magic. Got some bad news because they lost Franz Wagner to a torn right oblique muscle. It happened Friday against the 76ers. They said he'll be reevaluated in 4 weeks. If it sounds familiar, it's because Paolo Banchero is currently out with a torn right oblique muscle. It's been 5 weeks since he went out, and they said yesterday he just started doing ball handling drills. So not very encouraging for the Orlando Magic to lose their 2 stars to the same injury, and obviously it's one that's kind of a lingerer, right?
Sure.
I think if you go back and look at the last 5 torn obliques, it's these 2 guys, a couple of non-Magic, and Cole Anthony. It just keeps happening in Orlando.
Weird.
Very unusual.
I literally had to triple check it wasn't like a troll Shams account with the Franz Wagner news over the weekend that he had a torn oblique. I'm like, come on. Yeah, right.
Never happened.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? And he obviously Franz was playing like an all-star, was gonna make the all-star team. That's up in the air now, but that was a bummer.
Big time.
They still gotta win.
They gotta win on Sunday
crazy.
Against the Suns. The Suns, they're a loser of the weekend. Absolutely. Yeah. Cole Anthony went off against the Suns. 26 points for him. Goga Batadze, massive game. 21 points, 16 rebounds, 9 offensive, including a lefty tip dagger that I love to see. It was the first win that the Magic got without Franz or Paolo since April 1st, 2022.
Wow.
That's before they drafted Paolo. I think Michael Mulder was a starter for this team.
Oh, Canadian.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Victor Oladipo was against the Heat. Victor Oladipo had a 40-point game. That might have been the last game of his career.
Mike Mulder.
Jeez.
Yeah, no Scully. Look, I was confident.
That's exactly what I was
I was confident that Magic would stay afloat when Paolo Banchero went down. I thought between Suggs and Franz Wagner, they would be able to stay around 500. They were obviously a lot better than that, but I'm not as confident this time around.
No?
I think you're still going to have to beat the Magic. They're still going to play defense. You saw against the Suns, the fight is still there. They got down by double digits multiple times in this game, including early in the 4th quarter, and were able to battle back and pull off the win. It was awesome. They forced turnovers. They offensive rebound. they're going to win the possession battle, but they're 24th in offense for the season. They're obviously the worst offense in the league when Franz or Paolo sits for the most part. So I don't know how they're going to generate offense consistently with neither of those guys back. Hopefully Paolo comes back soon in January. I don't know what it is because it doesn't sound like it's anytime close, but at least he's getting to the high end of the 4 to 6 weeks reevaluation period that he was on. But they're going to scrap some wins, I think, but not a lot of them. It's tough for the Magic, so hopefully they're able to not lose too much ground in the Eastern Conference, because this is a team that, were they healthy? Like, they were healthy last year. That was a big reason for a lot of their success. Obviously, it's gone the other way this season, but they should be a home court advantage team in the playoffs, assuming they're healthy with the defense they play and enough offense they get, but now they're not going to be getting offense.
And it sucks for the NBA Cup. I can't believe I'm saying that, but like no Franz Wagner in this Magic Bucks game on Tuesday night, like Orlando going to Milwaukee. I don't love their chances to beat them without Paolo, of course, and now Franz, although they are scrappy, like Trey said. But they play the Bucks, and then they do have a good break, probably. I mean, if they don't advance in the NBA Cup. But then they play the Thunder, the Heat, the Celtics, the Heat, and the Knicks. So tough part of their schedule to end the calendar year with probably out both of those guys. That sucks.
Yeah, but they are going to be a scrappy team. There's no doubt. Apparently, Jonathan Isaac called a players-only meeting after the Franz Wagner injury. They all met up and just kind of rallied around each other. And then you mentioned Cole Anthony. The guy doesn't play. And then he gets inserted, and he has a post-game press conference with Goga, and they're shaking hands. And there's just a lot of love in terms of the depth of that team. Goga, 16 rebounds, career high. Cole Anthony shakes his hand for that. Well, congratulations, man. Good for you. And Goga's saying, we have 2 All-Stars. Not yet, but he's saying we have 2 All-Stars. Sure. Yeah, he's anointing Franz Wagner. They just really do play hard. And so, I think Goga will be able to bang against Brook tomorrow in the quarterfinals game. But, even Jalen Suggs had a monstrous performance after that first half. Apparently, he listened to Kirk Franklin. That's what he does at halftime. He gets in the mode.
Put your hands together.
That's what he said post-game. He said, yes, that's what I did at halftime, and he got into it. And then the broadcasters started maybe giving him a new nickname, because apparently Jonathan Isaac is the minister of defense. So Suggs could be the minister of music playing or something. I don't know what they said. I actually don't know what they said, but I didn't know Jonathan Isaac was the minister of defense.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I forgot about that.
He's a minister.
Yeah.
He's a minister,
Works on 2 levels.
Since Suggs likes Kirk Franklin, I mean, there's got to be something there.
I'm sure there is.
God's property. Apparently, the Magic bench is also called the Green Goblins. I heard Goga Batadze say that afterwards. He called Cole Anthony, Caleb Houston, and Jet Howard, who both also had pretty solid games in this one, called them the Green Goblins. Apparently, they got that nickname from Chuma Okeke last year. The third stringers wear green jerseys in practice.
Oh, okay.
Sick.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody's got a nickname on this team.
Maybe that's why they're bonding so well. That's the first thing Coach Mosley said. Everybody's getting a nickname.
You got a nickname.
You got to earn it at least. All right, so the Magic, it's an unfortunate, obvious loser of the weekend with the Franz Wagner news. Who do you have for loser of the weekend?
Oh, it's the New Orleans Pelicans. Another Pelicans injury, just as some guys started coming back, unfortunately. Brandon Ingram is now out indefinitely with a high-grade ankle sprain. It ain't no low-grade ankle sprain. It's a high one that he got against OKC. Zion Williamson hasn't played in a month and remains out, and that's unfortunate because DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, and Trey Murphy, they'd all come back. They'd all been sidelined for a significant time, so it feels like we can breathe again. Then Ingram goes out. And it's December here, but Williamson, Ingram, Murray, and McCollum have yet to play a single second together, including the preseason. That's their big 4. That's who they're supposed to lead this team. They're 5-20. Last week, the Pelicans became the first team to run through 15 starting lineups in their first 20 games of the season since forever, since the NBA-ABA merger in 1976. They just keep getting these new parts, and they're 5-20 again with Ingram and Zion Williamson out for the foreseeable future. Either one of them is not coming back very, very soon. We've already talked about it, but it seems like it's over. And the 2 major questions loom: trade Brandon Ingram, of course, but then the Zion one. It's the juicier one. Do you release him in the offseason because you don't have to pay him, because nothing else, no other parts of the contract are guaranteed past this season? I know. I'm reaching, and that's not going to be answered until the offseason because Zion Williamson will come back at some point this offseason. But what are you going to do?
Did you see the Ingram injury, too?
Yeah, it was a bad one.
Super it was weird because
very weird.
he Dort's all up in his shorts. He rises up, Ingram does, to take the jumper, pops Dort in the face. Dort goes down, and in going down, as Ingram continues to take the jumper, his legs are now lying under him, and he lands on him and tweaked it, and he grabbed it, and you're right. What'd you say, high ankle sprain at that? Yeah, it did not look good.
High grade.
Yeah. High grade. Oh,
high grade,
different.
yeah. Because
that is different, okay.
Yeah, it's not like he can come back next game. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Anyway.
No one knows how long he'll be out, but he'll be out for a while.
I think he was a leaving on crutches kind of guy, right? That's not good. And like you're saying, I thought there were reports early this weekend that the Pelicans were interested in bringing back Brandon Ingram on a smaller deal.
Yeah.
But now it's like we're going to trade an injured guy when he was trying to up his trade value. He wants to play for a winning team, allegedly. Just honestly a disaster for New Orleans and just a disaster season. Let's see if DeJounte Murray can do anything to start this season. He's shooting 33% from the field. Hasn't really had a big moment. He was 6 for 20 in their last game, so haven't been impressed with him yet, but also he's been playing with a mash unit out there.
Yeah. All right, I have one more big NBA weekend loser. And look, we've been clowning on it all season long. But it was a really bad weekend for the NBA's dunk score. And I need to explain why. First off, what is dunk score? If you're new to the show, we do talk about it a lot here. We talk about it more than anyone. Ironic for a show called No Dunks. But NBA dunk score breaks down every dunk using data-driven metrics, resulting in this objective score based on technical excellence and athleticism and difficulty, and it's got no bias. But the problem is it sucks. And it really sucked this weekend because on Friday night, I'm going to show you the highest registered dunk score first, and then we'll show you the better dunk that was somehow lower. So KJ Martin, you said there on Friday night for the Sixers, he had a tip dunk that he's going to follow up the miss here. And look, it's fine, but it's pretty damn pedestrian. That scored an 83 on the dunk score. Okay.
Out of 120.
Out of 120, of course. Same night, though, Shaedon Sharpe of the Blazers reached for the stars on this alley-oop, soared as he sort of looked down at the rim off the Anthony Simons pass. And this converting of the oop here, and we're showing everybody on YouTube, so podcast listeners, come on over, scored a 75.3. Now, okay, a part of one of the requirements is defense.
Yes.
Now Sharps gets a 0 because there's no defense there. But if you showed those two dunks to anyone, a hardcore fan, a casual fan, someone that's never watched basketball, is that which one's the cooler dunk? I'm going to say 99 out of 100 are going to say the Sharpe one looked cooler than the KJ Martin tip dunk.
You think Kenyon Martin is the one guy picking KJ Martin?
Maybe.
Yeah, you might be right, because I saw 9 million screenshots of the Shaedon Sharpe dunk over the internet.
How many did you see of the KJ Martin
0!
dunk? Yes, okay.
0!
So,
And there's both no defense. What did KJ Martin get
Martin,
in the defense
he
category?
got a higher defensive score because there was
makes no
guys
sense.
around.
There's a guy in the lane, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
Weird.
made no sense.
But again, it does make sense oddly in this weird metric because it's all based on the cameras and the overlay of where the players are. So it's picking up, well, there are players there, right?
They're there.
Yeah, sort of.
So it's so stupid.
They didn't play any defense.
I know. I know.
Get some judges. Get some judges in
Well,
here.
okay.
There you go.
So then
you guys should judge. You guys love this.
it got worse, Tass. On Saturday, it got worse somehow because this was the dunk of the night, according to Dunk Score. Celtics big man Nikola Jokic with the two-hand slam.
Oh.
All right, against the Grizzlies.
Chin up.
That was nice.
Yeah, nice little chin up. Maybe he got bonus points. Kid loves it. This kid's ecstatic with that. That got an 83. Excuse me. That got an 86.4. Okay, that was
beat the Kenyon
that was better than the
Martin.
KJ Martin dunk. Okay, same freaking game. This got second on the night. The Ja Morant double clutch reverse jam. I mean, let's be honest. Around Porzingis, he's there. And just incredible. One of the best dunks of the season, probably. It got a 79.7. Now, where did it fall flat? Little power.
Very little power.
So, Keita's much more powerful than Ja Morant's incredible double clutch reverse coming baseline around a couple Celtics. This is so broken, it's insane. But this was a perfect weekend to illustrate it, and it came at the perfect time that Trey, our guy, did a little short video. We have it up on YouTube, so podcast listeners, go check this out. We posted it over the weekend. It's called Dunk Score is Broken, and it's exactly what we're talking about here. Trey took us through sort of the entire season so far of like, what the hell's going on with this?
The style don't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, so recommend you check it out.
Technology is broken because there needs to be judges rather than technology saying that John Morant was too soft. I mean, forget about what technology is telling you. You know, it can get broken. Like the iOS, it's broken at times. Technology can be deceiving. While I was showing that John Morant highlight to my girls, to my kids, people were watching it. Just as you mentioned that nobody's watching the freaking KJ Martin one, but people are looking at Shaedon Sharp looking down at the rim. Beat technology with people's perception.
Okay,
I mean,
hold
our
on.
eyes are good enough.
Maybe you've unlocked something here, Tass. Maybe we need to include social media engagement into the dunk score.
Oh, engagement score.
Maybe that exactly. Maybe that bumps up obviously a Sharp. That bumps up a John Morant double clutch reverse. Could be something there. Yeah, we could tweak this a little bit. But I do love this comment from Andrew on Blue Sky, because I've been sharing these dunks and always, or more times than not, it's not the best dunk of the night that gets the highest dunk score. Andrew wrote to me, quote, "The dunk score only exists to be discussed. Ergo, it must always be wrong, else there is no discussion. The NBA knows what it's doing."
Wow.
I was like, whoa, damn. We are talking about it a lot because it's wrong. So maybe Andrew's onto something here. Maybe he works for the NBA for all I know. But dunk score loser of the weekend, Trey. I know you agree.
Big time loser of the weekend. There's a place for analytics in sports, and this is not it. I'm all about the eye test when it comes to dunks.
Yep.
Call me a boomer.
Now, I'll give the dunk score, some credit here. I think it got it right last night. Brandon Miller had a big dunk against the Pacers. It was the highest dunk score of the night. I think it was in the 90s. He takes off very far, so I think it really helped there. And I can't remember a dunk that was better. Thompson had a nice dunk, but I don't think it was better than Brandon Miller's. So maybe they got it right 1 out of 3 nights on the weekend.
Brandon Miller's been having some nice dunks from an eye test and from a dunk score
I think
perspective.
the dunk score loves Brandon Miller because he does take off very far on his dunks.
And he's tall, so the ball's getting high.
And the ball gets high. Yep.
Too much weight for the alley-oops, I'll say. That's what it is. That's a large part of the style. Like, you see 37 of the top 50 dunks, they are alley-oops. So it increases your style quotient, catching an alley-oop. That's why Jay Huff ranks so highly in these.
But
he was fourth last night.
But Sharp had incredible height.
Yep.
And then obviously was a noob, but still didn't score all that high.
Yeah,
No defense, really.
No defense.
He just needed somebody in the lane. Would have boosted him like 30 points or something like that.
How was Ben Simmons' alley-oop scored? It wasn't pretty. It was just a jump up and dunk it.
We can check.
We can check.
Let me
the
find
stats are there.
Here.
Well, I do. We should mention. I just take this away from dunks just for 1 second.
Yeah.
The Memphis Grizzlies won in Boston. That was impressive.
Yes.
I know we're going way back to winners, but I got to mention, Jaren Jackson Jr. looked awesome in the fourth quarter there. 14 points. They're playing 5 out, which is Boston Celtics ball, so it looked good. No Horford out there to guard Jaren Jackson Jr. That was a problem. They were playing 5 games in 7 days. Fine, that was a problem. But Marcus Smart stunk in his first game back in Boston, playing in Boston, 1 of 11, and they still somehow win with, as Trey brought up last week, who are the guys that are going to finish games beside Morant, Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr.? It seems like Taylor Jenkins just going to be picking and choosing, and this one it was Jake LaRavia who had a nice defensive play, and Brandon Clark who was 8 of 9 in this game. So good stuff there.
No, it's a good point. The Mavericks and the Grizzlies like a month ago were like in the 10th and 11th seeds and stuff like that. And now both of those teams are like up in the top 4 in the Western Conference. They deserve a win of the weekend. I'm glad you brought them up.
I am glad, and I'm glad the Huff stuff. Mr. Huff, Jay Huff, gets some dunk scores. He's good at dunking.
Do you have the Ben Simmons dunk score?
You want when Ben Simmons caught an alley-oop against the Indiana Pacers?
Yeah.
44.2.
Okay, good.
They did good there.
Okay, did good there. That's good.
Let me check some Jay Huff. He's got a lot.
Huff's got some big ones.
Jay Huff is, what,
He's
2 of the top 10, you said, or something?
No, it's not that high. But he's got one of the best ones of the year, I think. The one where he caught the sort of the backwards alley-oop. Yeah, reverse alley-oop on a guy, though. That was a long time
He's dropping
ago.
down. Unfortunately, the Huff stuff is dropping down. He's out of the top 50.
Oh,
He's out of the top 50. Tragedy.
Damn. Okay, good. Dunk score. All right. So those are our winners and losers of the NBA weekend. I know we missed a ton. Get upset. Let us know in the comments. Tweet at us if you want at No Dunks Inc. Okay. Pick'em results. I'll just say quickly from Friday night. We had that Lakers-Hawks game. Man, that could have been a winner of the weekend. What a game
Absolutely.
that was. You went down to the Fortress.
I did, yeah.
You caught a beauty task.
Oh, you betcha.
Hawks winning to extend their win streak at that point against the Lakers in overtime. But LA covered. So that was a victory for me and Trey. What was the line, 4.5 or something like that?
It was.
They lost by 2 in OT. But what's tonight's game? And there's only, well, hold on. I know tonight's games because there's only one.
Yeah. The Knicks are going into Toronto. And as you said, there are no games in the United States of America tonight. Toronto hosting the Knicks. They're a 5.5-point dog, so they can lose by 5 or less if you want to take Toronto. Skeets, yourself, and me, we trust Toronto. Why? Why do we trust Toronto?
They always keep it close, man. And the Knicks got their sights on that NBA Cup game on Wednesday night.
I was thinking the same. I was like, oh, man, are the Knicks going to be overlooking this one? Tom Thibodeau overlooking a regular season game? No chance.
That's a good point. Yeah, damn. 40
other team,
minutes
I'm
for
like-
all those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Toronto Raptors do keep games fairly close. Karl Anthony Towns may not be playing because he missed the last game, and he missed the Pistons game, and that's why I'm a little bit worried that the Raptors may lose by more than 5 because they lost to the Pistons, and so they've got some revenge for them. But I think Davion Mitchell, even though they're not starting him, will do a good job against Jalen Brunson. Some weird rotations. They're starting Ochai, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett, besides Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl. Things are different now in Toronto. Anyway, I'm going to be watching because it's the only game.
It's the only game on,
because
yeah.
it's the Raptors.
Yeah. Knicks-Raptors, only game on tonight, and we are split on this one. For the Knicks to get the W, or for these guys to get the W, I should say, they got to win by 6 or more. So good luck to everyone. And yeah, it's going to be odd with only one game on tonight. So we'll have some fun tomorrow. Maybe hit the beach. Get your questions in, your NBA and non-NBA questions. You can email them in, nodunks@theathletic.com. Again, you can leave them in the comments. And if you have a suggestion, what do you want us to talk about tomorrow? Because I don't think we're going to do 50 minutes on Knicks Raptors, unless it's a barn burner.
Barn burner.
Because it's possible. We
Top 10 Andrea Bargnani moments. Perfect tie-in.
Andrea Bargnani just
Knicks.
appeared on Open Gym. Talking that was a nice. We made a small appearance, a little cameo in that one about international players for the Raptors over the years. Andrea Bargnani looked great. Just surprisingly, he looked more handsome than I remember.
He's aging well. Huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So, yeah, we'll talk about that game tomorrow. Maybe hit the beach, have some more fun. But we will find out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Join us live here on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe. I will say, we usually do playbacks on Monday night. We're not going to do it for Knicks Raps tonight. Let's save it for the Cup action. In fact, we'll do it Tuesday and Wednesday night. We're going to go live on playback for both of the early games starting around 7 p.m. We have Magic Bucks on Tuesday night. Is that right? Yeah, and then we have Hawks Knicks on Wednesday night. So that link to join our playback room, it is in the stream team. So hopefully we'll see you out there on Tuesday and Wednesday night. And then later we go to Vegas. But we got shows all week. Yeah. Till then, though, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, if you join our playback room, it can be a secondary screen too. You know? Yeah.
Oh, right. These are on TNT and ESPN, respectively. Yeah, it's true.
Some
International people are cool?
Absolutely. Some people here in the United States may not have access, but we've got little VIP passes. We slip people as they get in. You can do this. You can watch here. You can watch here. You're a VIP.
Very important playback. Embrace the day, people.